From the gas tax debate to other issues facing the South Carolina General Assembly, Cyndi Mosteller sits down with me one-on-one for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. Cyndi,
hey,
it is so good to see you.
Thank you for coming.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, as we sit here right now, I was just looking at the South Carolina State House website, and it says this: the first regular session of the 122nd South Carolina General Assembly from January 10th, 2017 to May 11th, 2017. When you look back to January 11th to right now, what in your mind says that the General Assembly has done something?
Well, I want to give the House a lot of kudos. It seems like they're taking a lot of initiative and have shown a strong bias for action. Some opioid legislation,
right.
which is great, and I applaud Donald Trump for bringing that to the national awareness, and Chris Christie. So I think that South Carolina is picking up that ball and taking it down the field. And the nice thing about that issue is just the highest regard we have for doctors. They're going to really be a part of this as they look into the tracking of drug use,
right.
Prescription drug use. So I think there's a lot of hope on that issue because not much has been done previously. So we're going to make movement on that. They've kind of been leaders on the gas tax issue. So I give them a lot of credit on that and look forward to the Senate responding.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Speaking of the gas tax, this headline from the Postal Courier reads this on April 18th. It says this quote: South Carolina House members call out Senate Governor Henry McMaster to get on board with gas tax, unquote. What else would you add to that headline?
Well, I think that it's not only the South Carolina House, but I think it's the people of South Carolina. You see, I think it's a grassroots, or should I say, a highway-based kind of issue. And I think that many people on both sides of the aisle feel that something has to be done about these roads. When you cross into other states, North Carolina, Georgia, you can feel literally and see the difference. And infrastructure is an important thing, both in bridges and in roads. It's just very important. I applaud what they've done in I-26, leaving Charleston, with the clearance that they've done and the help of safety and the clearing of the median. You know what I'm talking about, and those kind of soft issues. And so now we need to move on to the literally harder issues of the roads. Yeah. And I think that's likely to happen. They had a supermajority in the House, and I applaud those guys.
Let me turn to this headline from the state, and it was posted 18 hours ago. It says this quote: fate of South Carolina pension bill is with the governor, unquote. So what should Governor McMaster do in your mind?
Well, I'm not as in touch with that issue in terms of the specifics, but I do applaud Henry's vision that we need to not just have it on the backs of taxpayers, because we're just feeding something that continues to grow out of proportion. And so I applaud him at re-looking at that whole paradigm. And I think that he will have a General Assembly. I think there's room for real consensus there. You know, conservatives should do a good job in the majorities in both those houses and with the McMaster in making economic decisions like that, because I have a view that we have a high regard for math. And the math should tell us a lot of reality on this issue, and we need some different tweakings in our funding mechanisms. So I applaud Henry for bringing it up, and I think that's an issue that could find some light of day in this state.
You talk about Henry McMaster, who's the governor of South Carolina right now.
Yes.
I was reading a headline late in the state newspaper where basically a lot of lawmakers basically said, hey, Henry's out there campaigning more than governing. What is your definition of Governor McMaster right now?
Well, listen, I think a lot of Henry McMaster. I think he's pretty tried and pretty true. Not everything, I don't agree with him on everything, but I think he has a mind to see what needs to happen and a demeanor to work with people. He loves people. He loves this state. He knows this state. And I think McMaster will do he's eloquent in his articulation, and I think he will be effective in his action. But he has a certain Southern gentility about him, and also I'm fine with what he said at the pool.
Okay.
I just want you to know.
Oh yes, at the governor's mansion.
Yes, there were men there, women there, spouses there, you know, and governance is not about those small little kind of off-the-cuff remarks. It's about what you do when you get up and go to the job. And what's awesome about McMaster at that poolside event is why was he even there? Because he thinks so much of law enforcement. He's been our Attorney General.
Right.
I think he was the first South Carolina governor to invite members of the South Carolina Sheriff's Association to the governor's mansion. And so I applaud him on that. So we just, anybody who has a problem with that, they should just jump in a pool and cool off a little bit. That'd be my view on that. So I think we're going to see some good action out of Henry McMaster, even though I'm not totally in agreement with him on the gas tax.
Right.
That might have to pass without his blessing, and I think that it might.
You talk about Henry McMaster. Obviously, the race for governor is heating up. You have Catherine Timberland in. I believe Nancy McGill's right. And on the Democratic side, Jane Smith, state representative, wants to jump in on the Democratic side. When you look at 2018 right now to then, what is the biggest thing that sticks out in your mind?
Well, I think really the gas tax is one of the biggest things. So we're going to have an early shot at that. And then I think in some ways Henry was prescient in being out for Trump from the very beginning. And why was he in that position? Why did he take that position? I think he saw a person who has a unique person, yes, President Trump, but a person with a strong bias for action. And I think that Henry knows that the call today is get things done. Trump's going to get things done, or he's going to try to get things done, no question, at the national level. And I think those people that were with him from the beginning, including Henry McMaster, have a great commitment to action. It's really, we're seeing now today, action speaks so much louder than words in the political realm and in the governance of a state and the governance of a nation. So I think we're going to see action from Henry McMaster. Some people might call it campaigning, but I just call it good governance.
Wow.
So.
Well, Cyndi Mosteller, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you so much, Quintin. I enjoyed it.
Likewise.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.